because AI helps you guess what is going on in the future. Right, Virginia? We're guessing what might happen by going to a concert where we win at attending the concert because we have flowers prepared. This is AI in your pocket, which is Asian intelligence. It's an Asian guy in your pocket saying, oh my gosh, we should remember to study math class before math class. We should remember to pack Evia lamb chops. We should remember to give flowers to the artist so that way we can attend the after party. This is how to get better from party to party. It doesn't have to be an AI party. It doesn't have to be even a work party. We can just get better from party to party or from music festival to music festival that we don't pay for. This is how we're going to use the supercomputer that is in our pocket. This is where we are going to Beyonce our way forward by becoming better from one performance to another performance. These are some bullet points. This is what to pay attention to so that way we may guesstimate as to how things might turn out for us, which is tremendously awesome. Are we going to sell Shih Tzus for six figures? Maybe. We're first going to do some basics, which is layer 1 VC, which is we're going to look at the calendar for future events. And if you're just joining this live stream, you've missed nothing and everything because this is the calendar of events. June 15 and June 16 in San Francisco, Y Combinator is doing an AI startup school. This is how 100% of people are going to attend the school. They're going to show up and be like, I have no idea what to expect. They'll barely look at the lineup of speakers, and very few will ask OpenAI or Grok 3, what is the anticipated presentation that is going to be delivered over 2 days, June 15 and June 16? When you don't use AI while working in AI, that's like being friends with a Chinese guy, not leveraging the fact that you're friends with a Chinese guy. He's a Chinese guy who is not necessarily smart, but kind of street smart and savvy and fun in a way where you're like, maybe I should spend more time with him and maybe I could learn something. Yeah, but maybe, not maybe, definitively, you can be slightly better. You can, this is what it is, unscripted. You can gather up and not necessarily just be more resourceful, but you can be a little bit more savvy with the resources and limited time that we have. Okay, so those are some generalities. What are some specifics? We're talking about layer 1 VC. We're talking about AI. We're talking about being AI minded, not AI bulldozed or artificial intelligence gasped, where we're like, oh my God, everything's about to change. That's kind of demoralizing, where everything's about to change, but then our lives are still where they were on Monday. This is layer 1 VC. Let's look at the calendar. June 15 and June 16 is an event that you can pay $0 for. Remember, we're trying to get better from party to party without investing any money. And by looking ahead at the calendar, we can ask AI to do something stupendous. William and Dab, what up? How are you guys? What if you used AI to ask AI at the $0 subscription or at the $50 subscription, AI, Asian intelligence, artificial intelligence, Cowboy Larry AI, will you help me make $205? And AI will answer that for you without risking any money, of course. Who uses money to risk money? Cowboy Larry says no risking money to make money. What if you asked AI at the $0 level or the $50 level or the $20 level or the $0 level, OpenAI Grok 3, how can I attend the Super Bowl for free? Most people would think, oh, I just need to get one person to buy a ticket. That's one step AI. And that's not even using AI. That's just being remedial. What we can do is we can say, what's a street smart way zesty, I know. What's an astute, insightful way to ask AI, hey, how do I attend Super Bowl for free? You would find out that it's in Santa Clara and it's on February 6th. But what you don't see, which now you do see because this is Asian intelligence from me to you, is for the first couple years of Super Bowl, you're not going to get to go to the game. You'll just get to go to parties during the week, also for free. Remember, we're not just taking one giant leap and going from 0 to free Super Bowl, going from 0 to $5 million, 0 to a large business. We're taking small sequential steps, which is why this video is significant, because we're getting better from one AI party to another AI party. Are we necessarily invited to these parties? No. We're using AI to invite ourselves, inviting ourselves. That's the counterintuitive first step. Nobody's going to send you a cold email or cold open, which is why I wanted to call this video, there is no AI required in order for you to cold open attractive people, like my friend Virginia. Cold open is where you've never met the person before, you see them on the street, or she's sitting on a table at coffee, and you now need to go cold open. With AI or without AI, that is a tremendously difficult task. This is where we get to be similar to baseball players having at-bats. Because what are you trying to do before the difficult at-bat occurs? You're trying to study ahead and say, what does this pitcher tend to throw? What does video of this pitcher's delivery look like? What does the sequence of pitches look like? This is what it's like using AI before AI became sentient and jaw-droppingly intimidating, which is trying to do Asian intelligence where you're trying to read ahead in the book. Remember, we're still on layer 1 of venture capital, which is the calendar. Being able to guesstimate, hey, June 15, June 16 is YC Startup School. Super Bowl is February 6th, 2026. How do we use the calendar to attend events for free, even though we are currently uninvited? This is the baby steps of using AI getting better from party to party. Let's say you're not in San Francisco, and let's say you're in the middle of America. Let's say Austin, Texas. Let's say Chicago. Let's say Omaha, Nebraska. It doesn't matter. Annually in Nebraska, Warren Buffett does first weekend in May for Berkshire Hathaway. Would you be able to use AI for the Warren Buffett book Snowball in writing up 5 to 8 supplemental chapters? Because remember, that Snowball book was published 5+ years ago, and there's been supplemental new content. This is what you're doing with using AI to press ahead and guess at future content. This is the reward you get for when you became great prior to AI getting launched from Sam Altman. Is, did you take the teacher syllabus in high school and study ahead? Because AI massively rewards this methodology called PQRST. If you manually had to do preview, question, read, summarize, test before AI became utilized, then you get to use AI in a way that is much more effective than a person who doesn't want to know. Have you ever given information to your friend and your friend was like, no, 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 I don't want to know this. I don't want to know this. For example, you see your friend in cahoots at In Cahoots, and you're like, oh my God, aren't you dating my friend? I should go tell him or her. And you go tell her, and she's like, no, 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 I don't want to know. I don't want to know that my partner is canoodling their noodle in some other location. This stems back to AI. Why? Because some people don't want to know what is going to take place in San Francisco at startup school. They're like, I don't want to know. I kind of just want to be surprised. It's like the person who goes to the movie without first reading the script. It's like the person going to the movie and then not even having read the book. They're like, oh, I don't want to know. I just kind of like the adventure. And yes, movies are entertaining, but money should not be a surprise for when we get surprised, because surprises in business, they're not good. The methodology that we're hammering for layer 1 venture capital, the calendar, is PQRST, which is, can we guess what's going to happen in the future so that way we can prepare better? Prompt engineering is the driving, catalytic concept that is pervasive in AI. And if you're asking, hey, if I do prompts and PQRST, will I be rich? It turns out if you do prompting and PQRSTing 7 times, it's actually impossible to not be rich. I could repeat that, but I'm going to just make you snippet that video. Why? Because the way that questions are posed is part of PQRST, which is preview, question, read, summarize, test. Remember, we're trying to go from AI party to AI party and benefit in the time between. We're trying to attend AI events, even the ones that we aren't invited to, such as Y Combinator, June 15 and June 16, with June 14 being the reception day. Looking at improving ourselves from one party to another party. That is layer 1 VC, the calendar. This concept of cowboying up is the phrase that is almost smack talk, trash talk, shit talk, which is not my first rodeo. That's the thing that you say when you ace something. Is people would say, oh my gosh, that after party that you held on June 16 in San Francisco, that was amazing. And then you say, not my first rodeo. There's a open AI conference that's unofficial at ACL, Austin City Limits. And the overarching concept is hashtag 23 days of OpenAI at ACL. And then that triggers some people. Why? Because I just made it up. Not today on May 6th, but I just made it up on February 2024. That was a Monday at AITX. This is how to get better from party to party, because AITX happened on Monday with Michael and Jake and some other person who sponsored. We're getting better from AITX party to AITX party. It's one of those parties that's the first Tuesday of blah, blah, blah. Or Devin, welcome. How are you? Coming in on Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, I see, but that's cool. Devin does fourth Wednesdays. And so it's a monthly, and they just pick like a time. First Thursdays used to be a thing before it died at SoCo Hotel. And that's how we're winning at entrepreneurship, which you guys are bringing up perfectly. There were a lot of Asian cowboys because of the railroad. Didn't see enough of them in Westerns, though. Guess what cowboys are present at? At a top 35 school in Northern California called Stanford University. It's the OC, not the Orange County down in LA in the 94105, which is Stanford University. It's the 94909, which is Newport. OC is the Oriental cowboy. Let's focus not on my ethnicity. Let's focus on AI, Asian intelligence, which is us winning at entrepreneurship via baby steps. Remember, layer one was the calendar for venture capital. Layer two, and there's only two layers to venture capital, and AI, which is layer two, which is slap an animal on it and make it slay. There's only two layers. So you just take a stuffed animal and then you plug it into your company. That's Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club. That's kind of silly jokes, but what you're doing is you're taking an animal and you're giving a stuffed animal a job. Are we hiring? Hiring sounds expensive. I mean, I don't want to pay me $395,000 a year or the low range $275,000 a year. Heck no. But we're going to be breaking down barriers. Breaking down barriers with cute little Penn State University barrier breaker. He's a ram. Oh my God. Do you see? You could be holding a stuffed animal and still forget the logo, because it's just easy to forget stuff. But when he's a RAM and he's breaking down barriers, now we get to improve at entrepreneurship because layer 2 is slap an animal on it and make it slay. Speaking of slapping an animal, look who we brought. Look who we brought. Dickie the Duck. Did we get banned by the Oregon Duck? We kind of did. Karate chop. Hiya! So what you're doing with layer 2 is you are improving the odds of people remembering things, where we win at entrepreneurship by slapping an animal on it and making it slay. This is Celestial Mining and Management accounting software. Celestial Mining and Management accounting software for mining. Why is it a starfish? It's a starfish because at Celestial Mining and Management and Larry Chang Accounting Management for accounting, we ask this question that's starfish based. We ask the question that's starfish based, which is this: do you know the difference between your butthole and a hole in the ground? Because if you're truly good at accounting, you would ask yourself or answer the question, I don't know if I know the difference between my butthole and a hole in the ground. Do you know the difference between your butthole and a starfish? Because the answer is, I don't know that I do know the difference. How does this apply to accounting software? Because accounting software is meant to parse and artificially intelligentize AI interpret. Do you know the difference between your butthole and a hole in the ground? Because if you don't have an accounting and audit and engineering background, it turns out you have no clue. That's what makes starfish so funny, because no one, even experts in Bitcoin mining, can call a difficult financial decision without this complex accounting software, where you need to be a super fielder. And then when the data is throw your arms up in the air, I don't know, which is what a lot of Asian people who are smart will say, because we don't just not say anything, we kind of just say too much, right? Is we'll be like, we actually don't know. That's when you begin to interrogate, where you need to start asking people some questions that you are going to have to listen and take notes on. Oh, before starfishing, did we do ducky duck, which is deeply understood credit knowledge? Yes. This is layer 2 venture capital, which is slap an animal on it and make it slay. This is layer 1 venture capital also, because the annual jobs report comes out annually. The annual unemployment report comes out quarterly. The annual Super Bowl takes place in early February. This is layer 1 and layer 2, because you're trying to use AI in the simplest 2 layers possible. Is a VC going to just magically plop down $15 million? Actually, yes. But initially, you're going to have to get to about $600K, $600,000, because most people are kind of just stuck at $0. That's why these videos are $0 videos. You don't have to invest any money. You don't have to invest any money. You don't have to invest any cash. I feel like investing requires intuition unless you have inside information. Yeah. Why would you invest? All you want to do here is get better from party to party. So what you just said was actually genius, which you maybe did not mean to say, but let's break down what you're saying. I feel like investing requires intuition unless you have inside information. So, what seems like inside information, a la the Nancy Pelosi stock tracker, is AI, which is truly inside information, where sometimes you're so inside that you're 5 years early. What's today? Today is May 6, 2025. See how I had to ace the day but forget the year? Do you know why? Because in my mind, 2/5/21 was yesterday. Because today is May 6th to May 8th, Bitcoin for corporations. Did I already do my homework already for the Waldorf Astoria? Oh, yeah. I did this homework back when the dates were May 11 to May 16. Ditto last year at the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas. Oh, was that 2 years ago for Bitcoin for corporations? It's the same presentations every mother scratching year plus 15% difference. Does this sound like every class? Yes. Does it sound like every baseball game? Yes. It's the same thing with 15% different. Bitcoin for corporations is the same thing as 2/5/2021 on May 6, 2025. Now, is Bitcoin for corporations going to be installed at Stanford Board of Director Governance? Because remember, we're doing treasury operations that board of directors can paste copy. Did this get super complex in a hurry? Yeah, that's what AI does for getting better from party to party, from layer 2 Duck 9 to layer 2 Celestial Mining and Management accounting software for mining, which is Starfish. Do you know the difference between your Starfish and a hole in the ground? Which is funny because it's a butthole. And buttholes are funny because some people don't, not some people, the majority of people don't know the difference between a hole in the ground and a starfish. This is the advantage that you guys now have, because here are some frameworks that we will separate knowing before this video. So this is what you learned, is what I'm saying. Layer 1, look at the calendar and be able to say, I know it's going to happen on this future date. That's it. And that's good that your neck hurts, because the neck is the transition from your heart to your brain. And right now, your heart and your brain and heart-brain connection, which is heart-brain coherence. Are we talking about Joe Dispenza and front-running his book? Yes. We just did, because you said your neck hurts, because your neck connects your brain to your heart. Do you see how it's the annoying Chinese guy who tells you that he read the 3 books and now can extrapolate the 4th book, making heart-brain coherence jokes because you said your neck hurts? That's interesting. I agree that they tend to follow the same pattern with some differences. What we're doing is not pattern recognition, because you guys are smart and you guys are doing pattern recognition. We don't want to do pattern recognition using AI. We want to delegate pattern recognition not even to AI. There are 3 concepts that will be incorporated into the recap summary of this video, which is pattern recognition, pattern repetition, and pattern iteration. Let me repeat so that way you can write them down. Pattern recognition, that's difficult. You shouldn't do that. Pattern repetition, pattern iteration. Remember when I was talking about layer 1 and layer 2? What you're doing is you're getting away from pattern recognition, which is paralysis and a lot of analysis, which is going to make your starfish pucker. He's not going to light up. My starfish, it's lit. It's lit. We don't want to pucker and be scared. We want to win at entrepreneurship. Why? How? By pattern repetition and pattern iteration. Remember, we used AI to determine what's going to be in the future. Remember, we used deeply understood credit knowledge to guesstimate how the test might occur. All this is just winning at PQRST. That's what AI is preview, question, read, summarize, test. That's ML, machine learning, or machine learning, or AI, which is Asian intelligence. Are these jokes? Yeah, but these are jokes meant to lubricate my brain into your brain. That's what you're using AI for. So I'm going to ask my little starfish here, do you know the difference between this starfish and your starfish? And the answer is, well, yeah, this starfish is clean, whereas your starfish, uncertain. The joke of putting my brain inside your brain for winning at AI is this. What if you used AI to make $201 per month? Do you think that you could use AI to do that? Because there are a bunch of YouTube videos that are like, hey, make $20 million. And maybe to you, that is a emotional construct that you don't want to meet or even think about. Okay, I understand that. I don't understand that, but I'll pretend like I understand how you don't want to win. Some people are wired to lose. Maybe this is the moment where you're like, oh my gosh, have I been self-sabotaging myself? Is that why my butthole puckers up when Chinese people talk? Maybe you have 0 Chinese friends. Like, how do you have 0 Chinese friends? Like, I literally will take normal friends and I will make them Chinese, and I won't even say, oh my gosh, am I your first Chinese friend? Yeah, I won't say that. What we're doing is we're delegating pattern recognition to a mentor. And we ourselves, we're just doing layer 1 and layer 2, which is pattern repetition and pattern iteration. And so the pattern iteration is this goal. Can we use this video and AI to make $201 per month? Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club can. Why? Because Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club is just in flow, and I'll ask Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club, hey, do you guys want to go to Miami for Art Basel in December? And everyone's like, yay! And then I'll be like, well, hold on a minute. You're going to need to squeeze 6K or 8K And they'll be like, oh yeah, no problem. I'll just pop a titty. I'm like, no, 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 no. You can't do OF work. You can't pop a boobie or pop a titty or pop a buddy or shoot belfies. We're not going to broker that kind of stuff. What we're going to do is get ROI for Art Basel before Art Basel. It's the same thing as getting ROI for the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. Let's say you do the full Super Bowl VIP package, which is 90 grand. Initially, paying for and self-funding a $90,000 vacation, that's going to be challenging. But, and, but, Belfie, but selfie. What if we lowered the bar from a $90,000 self-funded ROI vacation to a $8,000 Osaka World Fair vacation? Would this be Duck 9, deeply understood capital knowledge? Oh, I think it might be. I think it might be Duck 9, deeply understood capital knowledge. In fact, we're just going to keep the duck right here so that way we can focus on what if we paid for a $201 day trip from Austin to College Station so that way we wouldn't have to spend money to go to a baseball game. Maybe we could go to a baseball game ROI positive, return on investment positive, cash flow positive. A lot of people, turns out, they get the money in mixed up with the money out. Time for a specific example for $201. The first year that I went to Omaha for College World Series, I spent $60,000. That might seem like too little money to go, but that also included the Super Regionals in Lubbock, Texas, and flying from Lubbock, Texas to Omaha. This is not an easy airplane ride because Lubbock is not a hub and Omaha, it's not a hub. I'm not going to drive 12 hours between Texas and Omaha. That's why it cost 60. That was 2021. Guess how much I spent on Omaha when Stanford went to the World Series again in 2022. Remember, in 2021, I spent $60,000. So in 2022, I spent a grand total of $0 going to Omaha. And then when Stanford University men's baseball again went to Omaha in 2023, guess how much money I spent? Remember, I spent $60,000 the first year, $0 2022, my second year, and in 2023, I stayed in 8 hotels, flew in gloriously awesome accommodations, networked with the GM. How much did I spend to do those things? $0. I even kind of made a little bit of money. How did I do it? I asked AI the question, which is, how do I get return on investment for Stanford University College World Series before day 3 of the 16 days are over? Should I repeat that question, or do you kind of get it? Because this is also the joke concept that you rolled into Starfish Unpuckered, which is, I think I know that guy. That's the guy that started the 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. Hashtag 23 days of OpenAI at South by Southwest. When the transcript drops, which you can actually make $50 on, which is you take the YouTube transcript of this video and then you insert commentary. I consent to releasing trademark on this video, and I release copyright of information for you to scrape, crawl, dissect, and reuse my image without my consent. And so, do you see how this video, okay, how does your method work in practice? Like you asked ChatGPT for investment advice. No! Close though. All the way to the end. All the way to the end. What great questions you have, Nolan, whatever your name is. You're welcome for me making you money. I almost said rich. You might already be rich. In fact, the way that you're asking questions is you are rich already. I'm going to wrap up 11 points and answer your question at the same time. Deeply understood capital knowledge. I'm going to repeat your question while bringing into the fold 10 dangling participles because I'm left some of Hot Girl Entrepreneurship Club temporarily confused. Okay, so how does your method work in practice? Like, do you just ask ChatGPT for investment advice? Terrific question. Because your question has the prompting and presumption that you're going to need to risk money to make money. You are not investing anything except for time, pen, and paper. And we're not asking ChatGPT for investment advice. What we're doing is we're running ahead of things that are currently $0 or free. Let me give you an example. And this example definitively applies and wraps up the 10 dangling participles for what in the world is this Chinese cowboy talking about. Let's go. So, May 27 to 29. Remember, layer 1 VC, the calendar. May 27 to 29, Las Vegas, Bitcoin. This is what you need to write down because you're prompting AI. Because remember, you're asking OpenAI to give you investment advice. I'm prompting by adding information that is specific, which is Las Vegas Bitcoin is May 27 to 29. You have to start with layer 1, which is the calendar. You can't ask it too general of a question or else you get crap results. General equals complete turd. Specific is what did Larry Chang say May 6, 2025? This applies and you're welcome, which is you're not asking for investment advice. You're front-running value. You're running ahead of May 27 to 29. Now, that hotel and conference ticket, that's going to cost money, right? So how are you going to gamify the fact that the conference ticket $600 and the hotel rooms are, well, Vegas, it's $300, right? Well, if you would have booked Las Vegas May 27 to May 29 back in June 25 to 28 in Nashville, you would have spent less than $1,000 because the Venetian hotel rooms were under $100. Let me repeat this. What if you paid for Las Vegas 2026 during Nashville 2024, 25? Do you see how layer 1 VC is the calendar? Because as soon as Nashville announced, hey, we're not doing Miami, we're not doing Nashville again, next year's annual Bitcoin conference, right? Just like the Super Bowl moves. Last year, New Orleans. 2026, Santa Clara. 2027, Los Angeles. Guess who already booked Los Angeles? This guy. This is how you front run and self-fund, because guess who already booked Austin City Limits, which is October 3 to 5 and 10 to 12? This guy. So what you're doing is you're running ahead of other people. Joe and Drew, they don't know this yet, but they're going to be hosting their annual Four Seasons party at the Four Seasons. And so I went ahead and squatted Mandalay Bay because Unchained Capital is going to do some cool events at Las Vegas Bitcoin. Ditto May 26th, which is Thank Jesus Christ for Bitcoin. So all these people are going to need to spend money. What if you help them to spend less money? What if all these people who spend $300,000, what if they got their return on investment of $300,000 before they risked their money? And do you see how now you're asking incredibly specific questions so that way the AI is going to solve these problems? Because remember when I was talking about the Omaha College World Series? It turns out all the team hotels are in the same 7 hotels. Marriott Courtyard, Hyatt Regency, Hilton Garden Inn, the Hilton Regular, Doubletree, and then one other hotel that I have written down. So do you see how it's the same thing every year, but 15% changes? So your job is to figure out the pattern to repetition, not the pattern to recognize. The pattern that's recognized is via your mentor or using AI. So you don't want to do the macro high-level pattern recognition. You want to do the pattern repetition and the pattern iteration. So that way when math class is the same math class as the last 20 years of math class, you're going to study ahead and win at math class. This is why Chinese people are good at math class, because the first time you're taking math class is the 10th time I'm taking that same math class. In the same way that you're trying to shoot a jumper or drain a three, me and Steph Curry, we've already drained 35,000 threes in our life. And so it seems super easy because this is my 280th rodeo, whereas you've never even put on a cowboy hat before. And that's where we can wrap, because now you get the simple prompt of, hey, maybe I can use AI to try to make $201. And if you don't make $201 using the most amazing time machine ever built, which is artificial intelligence, remember, layer 1 VC, it's just a time machine. It's guessing what's going to happen in the future. And via the over 18 examples I had and gave you for free, with the ability to scrape this transcript and then put it into a AI document on WordPress. And so now what you're doing with this last Bitcoin nugget, gold nugget, or silver medallion nugget is external API. Hashtag external API. Duck9, Dickie here, and me, Larry Chang. Hi, I'm Larry Chang. This is Dickie, my duck. Duck9, deeply understood capital knowledge, deeply understood credit knowledge. Duck9 is the double entendre to avoid Chapter 9 bankruptcy or Credit Code 9 bankruptcy. What external APIs is, Dickie and I have 650 hashtags for money. hashtags other people use as hashtag sarcasm, hashtag useless. Dickie and I use hashtag money via 650 hashtags for money. One of them include CS183D. Another hashtag includes hashtag external API. And what these hashtags do is they are the mechanism for AI, but without AI really utilizing them yet. That's a bold statement, I know. This is future AI, which I have a history and a repository, just like GitHub, of being able to run ahead. An example of this is Sam Altman, ChatGPT founder. He asked the question on September 14, 2015. Oh my God, my brain's amazing. He asked the question, Sam Altman, founder of ChatGPT, asked this question. Who at Stanford University will teach CS183D for distribution? Who will teach it? It turns out when he asked this question in 2015, I had already published 60,000 web pages answering his question. That gained me a little bit of notoriety, and coming full circle to this video and how it started, on June 15 and June 16, Y Combinator is going to be doing AI, artificial intelligence, startup school. Guess who's going to be speaking? Yes, Sam Altman. Do I already have his presentation AI generated? Half. But if you want to also use AI to guess at what the agenda is on June 15 and June 16, that gains you notoriety that then marches you towards making $201. Because I know people who would pay $2 million to know what's going to happen. And so let's say million is demoralizing. You can definitely make $201. You're welcome for me giving you consent to rip this transcript. And when people then say, oh my gosh, so all I have to do is ask YouTube for this transcript and then add some notes and then make it 15% better, or just use a transcript. Oh my God, this is so easy. There's no way making money can be this easy. I never asked these questions. You might ask that question. Do you know how I even know that that's a question that gets asked? It's because I'll be like, hey, we met 4 years ago. Did you get better? And people are like, no, I'm in the same spot. They don't quite say it that way, but that's what they communicate. That's not even funny. That's not even funny. That's literally what people ask AI to do, is let me win the lottery. Like, I just gave you the lottery, actually a much better version of the lottery, which is you can rip this transcript. You can literally take this transcript and make $201 from it. Should we bullet point some ideas on how to make $201 from this transcript? Let's. You're selling an ebook called First Steps to Using AI to Make $205. And you're selling this ebook for $50. And when people don't make $50, you lose the sale. Meaning, you sell an ebook, and if they don't make $5,000, they don't pay you $50. Let me repeat this, because for some reason, genius people in Silicon Valley, they mix this up all the time. So, I'm selling you an ebook. I being you. You're selling Tommy. This is Tommy. You're selling Tommy an ebook for $50. The book's meant to get Tommy to $205,000. The $50 you earn when Tommy makes $51. As soon as he makes $51, you keep $50. That's how basic money works. Is you take this transcript, you break it into 14 components, and I'll even walk you through the structure of it because I bookended it perfectly. And I'll even put chapter 10, the VC, layer 1, layer 2, put that as venture capital AI. Like that chapter alone is worth $250,000. But definitely $201, which is what you're going to try to earn. If you're just jumping into this video, it's been basic like this the whole time. That's what rocks people's brains, and people are like, I can't believe you're the third institution of Silicon Valley. There's Stanford University, there's Y Combinator, and there's Larry Chang. How many times did I accelerate and promote Stanford University and Y Combinator content? Who understands entrepreneurship at those two institutions better? People at Stanford YC or me? Me, right? Because I'm using AI, Asian intelligence, artificial intelligence, or Asian Chinese intelligence, Asian intelligence. And so we get to win at entrepreneurship because we don't make jokes about 69 minus 2. In fact, that is the joke. That's what 67 is. 69 minus 2 is we're not doing 69, so that's 67. Oh my God, this is great stuff. I've got $200 to my name. I'll give it a shot and get back to you. What? No. First of all, in America, which you're obviously not in, $200 isn't the dollar sign. You're putting the dollar sign in the wrong spot. Oh my God. This is what? You're not 200. The dollar sign goes in front. Oh my God. That's what like Indian scammers do. They like put the dollar sign in the wrong spot. You're not spending $200. You're making $201. You're not making $200. You're not making $200. When you make $201, and I don't mean to be short and curt with you, but these details kind of matter, and maybe I'm just getting tired, but like, oh my God, you're making $201. Why? Because the free version of OpenAI sucks. So after you make $201 for 3 months, then you're going to spend $200, not with Larry Chang. You're going to be spending $200 at OpenAI. And now you'll be, what? No? Yes. Or you don't have to spend $200 at OpenAI. You could spend $50 at Grok 3. I don't care where you spend the money. But the key is to take the free version and make $201 so that way you get used to the make $51, pay me $50 for this transcript. Be well.